Then all you want to do is go ahead and extrude this by however much looks decent. So I'm just going to extrude this by -3 units. Alright then, I think that looks pretty good. Only thing we need to do is, since this is going to be a modular piece and it's going to be connected and mirrored at the end, I'm going to extend this light into 2 lights. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and select it and delete this face at the end on both sides. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and select the vertice right there and copy its coordinates on the x-axis and transfer that to the polygons on both sides. And then delete both of them. And there you go. I'm going to create the geometry that's going to be underneath this metal grate in the floor right now. To do that, first I'm going to delete this top face. Then I'm going to select the edges that were connected to it. And I'm going to extrude down by probably about -25 units. Then I'm going to give it a slanted edge. I'm gonna go into the scale tool and scale it down on the y-axis by 50%. I want it a little steeper than usual, so I'm gonna do that instead of the 45-degree angles I've been doing everywhere else. It's easier anyway. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a face right here just by selecting these 2 edges and hitting the bridge tool. Okay, now I'm going to create the middle support that will hold the bars. And to do that, I'm just going to select all the edges on the bottom and up here near the top. Go ahead and connect it once with 0 pinch. Then I'm going to find the coordinate for the edge right here, and I'm going to paste that to these edges over here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and right click these arrows up here and move it 5 units this way. Okay then. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect the edges along the side just once. And I'm going to delete everything down here. Go ahead and select these 2 edges and click the bridge tool to create a face in between them. And then go ahead and select the edges and connect them twice. And I'm going to give it a pinch of 50. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to find the coordinate on the z-axis of this edge right here so I can know how far to extrude these 2 edges to bring it down. So now that I did that, I'm going to delete this middle polygon. Then I'm just going to go ahead and select these 2 edges, hold down the shift key and bring them down. Then I'm just going to go ahead and copy that coordinate I got earlier into there. Then I'm going to connect these two edges with the bridge tool. Okay. Now I'm going to scale this middle polygon down here. And I originally did it by 50% for this edge. Well, you know, this slanted polygon right there. But for some reason when I do 50 it goes too far, so I'm going to do it by 75. And as you can see, that does line up pretty perfectly. Now all I need to do is go ahead and go into the border selection tool and select these open edges and click the cap button. Now that that's done, I'm going to create the pipes that are going to run over this. First thing I'm going to do is copy the coordinates from the exact middle of this polygon. So I'm just going to select this polygon and copy the coordinates on the y-axis. Now that I've done that, I'm going to create a line that runs down the middle. So I'm just going to go into the top viewport and just create a line anywhere. Okay. I'm going to give that line, of course you need the enable render and enable viewport, and give it a thickness of 7.5 and 8 sides. Okay. Now I'm going to copy the coordinates I got earlier into the y-axis of this new cylinder, and I'll put it in the exact center. I'm going to convert this cylinder to an editable poly. Then I'm going to connect this object with the new cylinder, or attached, that is. Now you want to find out the height coordinate of this polygon right here and copy it over to that new cylinder. Okay, looks pretty good. Go ahead and delete the front and back of the cylinder because those faces aren't going to be used. Find the coordinate on the x-axis of that polygon over there and copy it to the border on the side of the cylinder. And you're going to want to do the same thing for over here. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and copy the cylinder and make it into two more of them. So just select the element, hold down the shift button and drag out a new one. Actually, before we do that, we want to copy the coordinates on the y-axis so we can convert it back, that new cylinder, right here in the middle, and then measure directly how much we want to move it over to the side. So I'm going to just go ahead and shift that over, clone it to an element, then I'm going to copy those coordinates I got earlier back into the center right there, right click the arrow, select the move button, and then go ahead and move it by 10 units on the y-axis over. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So just go ahead and copy this, clone to element, put the coordinates back in there to put in the center, then move it over by -10 units. There we go. That'll make sure everything's the exact same distance from each other. Now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and connect it over here to this end polygon. So go ahead and select it and delete. Then I'm just going to begin creating polygons like I have a million times before. Just by selecting edges that are facing each other in some way and clicking the bridge button. Then when there's nothing to bridge, just create them manually. Actually, there is another way to do it besides creating it manually that's a lot quicker. Just go ahead and select the two borders that make up right here and the polygon we deleted earlier, and just